Welcome to the Book Publishing Success Podcast Show, where we talk with leading authors about their books. I'm Dee Dee Heathman with Made for Success Publishing, and welcome to the show. Today, our guest in studio, all the way from Colorado, is Mannette Morgan, author of Finding Your Voice. Mannette, welcome to the show.
Dee Dee, thanks for having me.
So, Mannette, tell us a little bit about your motivation to become a published author. How did that even come about?
Kind of crazy story, but I taught, or still do sometimes, I taught these classes in Denver at this local organization that helps women and their children get out of pretty hard situations, trauma and abuse and different things. I'm too am a survivor of abuse. And what started out as a 1-hour class, just trying to help these women, turned into a 14-hour class over several weeks. And from there, I actually realized I couldn't answer all their questions in the classes. So from there, I went home and I started putting together some stuff and decided I think I'm going to have to write a book. I really want to help more than just a small community, and there's only one of me. Mm-hmm. So it seemed like the book turned out to be the answer, and that's how Finding Your Voice started.
So kind of something bigger than yourself is what I'm hearing on that one.
Oh, yeah. As I started writing and thinking about all these women I want to help and saw how many there are, I actually decided I want to create a movement. I want to create a worldwide movement. Mm-hmm. And I want to break the cycle of abuse through hope and healing. That's my goal.
So you mentioned just really briefly that you are a survivor of abuse as well. Can you just tell us a little bit about your background?
Yeah, it's pretty ugly, but I was actually, my abuse started as a young child. My father is emotionally abusive, and of course that led into older cousin that took advantage of those kind of weaknesses, I guess you could say, and started sexually abusing me from the time I was 8 for over 4 years. Mm. Then I moved on into high school, and of course I was swept away, from the beautiful, handsome, charismatic young man, blonde hair, blue eyes. And he was emotionally abusive and stayed in that relationship for 10 years.
It's a long time.
Long time. A lot of years.
So the number of women that are survivors of abuse, I know that you had shared the statistics with me earlier. Can you share a little bit about that? And men, actually. It's not just something that happens to women.
Yeah, so. I'm definitely, linked to the woman part of it. But, yeah, it's astonishing. 3.3 million women suffer from abuse. 1 in 4 women, 1 in 6 men or boys, let's say, suffer from sexual abuse before the age of 18. The numbers are crazy. And then you take those people grow up, and 90% of their children will witness abuse in their homes. It's astonishing. Like I said, my goal is to stop the cycle of abuse. That's ultimately what I want. I want a lot of healing to happen. I want to stop this, horrific thing. Hopefully with lots of other people out there will do this. Mm-hmm. It's really, really, really important to me to start making a difference. And the best way to do it is education.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm trying to offer in Finding Your Voice,
mm-hmm.
is the resources, the tools, the education, so that the mom, just imagine that young mom with that child, and she's just trying to hang on. If she can just start making a few changes in her life that teach her child something different, that child will grow up, boy or girl, and that child will make changes and then teach their children maybe something different. Mm-hmm. And then we can start seeing the cycle being defeated.
Yeah. I'm hearing generational change, that when we can affect change in our life, that of course then affects the change in our children and our children's children, and we're teaching a different way of thought and a different way to handle adversity, right?
Exactly. That's the key. To me, that's the key.
Yeah. You had shared earlier a story where you had some examples of women that you'd shared your process with, you'd shared your story with, and they came back and told you how you had helped them.
Oh,
Can
yeah.
you think of one or two stories?
I have one
Probably a million, but
I have one that, she's an amazing woman. She was in one of my classes early on years ago, and she came in and she just looked defeated, and she was just so, you could tell, just overwhelmed with life, and had a hard situation, an abusive husband, had a daughter or two, and she looked at me like I didn't know what I was talking about in class, I think, because I came in and I'm kind of naturally half full kind of girl, and I've overcome a lot of my trauma and things. And she sat there and you could just tell. And I thought she was almost scary. Mm-hmm. And she came to class. She came back. She came back again. She came back again. And about a year later, when I think she was really close to exiting the whole program, they have like a time limit, because she was there, I asked her, I said, hey, would you like to share what you've gotten out of some of these classes I teach and what's helped you? And I was just shocked. She was just like, this changed my life. What you taught me, I took it and applied it, and it's changed my life. She was getting her master's. She was out of her abusive relationship. She was teaching her young daughters how to be strong women. She had more pride in herself. It was an amazing transformation. I'm just so proud of her because I may have offered the work, but she did the work. So,
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
And the things that you teach in the class,
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of tools and resources that you've obviously developed over the years, and we're putting those in the book, and then offering additional tools and resources that are even additional, like a companion book, workbook that's going to be included. So tell me about the resources and tools that are available to the readers.
Okay. Well, we'll start with the book itself. I offer great inspirational quotes. I have personal stories and exercises and information of how I dealt with things to kind of give you some insight. So it's just not like I'm telling you what to do. I have great all kinds of tools. I use like 3 steps here, 5 steps here to improve this. It's all about change. Now, I know change is scary, but it's possible. I offer just an abundance of exercises and new ways of thinking, okay? Because, life is about experiences, and life is about our perspective and how we've seen it. So I take you from childhood all the way through, and that's amazing, and I think it works well for the program. Then, just like you talked about, we have the companion workbook. So this one's even a little different. I take you more on a visual journey and let you kind of use some different kinds of little therapy things that I call them, kind of work that you can kind of work through it. And it's kind of a different perspective to kind of take you on a different journey. And then just morning, in fact, I was doing an audio, amazing audio this morning for anxiety. All of these women or, survivors, men alike, they deal with anxiety. And so this morning I was recording a great little audio that has some breathing techniques and relaxation that you can just have on your iPhone or your Android, and you just put the little earphones in your ear and go take a break outside or even hide in the bathroom. And you'll breathe and you'll calm yourself. It'll help. It teaches you how to self-soothe. If you never had, we're fortunate to have a parent or someone that taught you how to do that. So, and there's other audios coming down the line, and
Great.
maybe a few other tools. We'll get them put together.
It grows. The project grows, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
It certainly does. So, speaking of projects, why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience writing? What was it like?
Oh my gosh. That was an experience in itself. I just happened to be severely dyslexic. And this was a challenge of a lifetime for me, to be honest. It took a lot of people, a lot of editors, the publishers, guidance. But, it worked. I somehow got all those things I learned over these last 25 years of recovery and healing onto paper. And I really did try to simplify it. So the big thing is dream big. You can do this. If you set your mind to it, you can do anything. That's my belief. Like I said, I have the little half full kind of glass going on.
I like that. So if you were to look back, how much time do you think it took you to write the book?
Oh, my gosh.
Not the editing process, because that's a whole other process in and of itself, but the writing itself.
Well, the crazy thing is I've been writing for 7 years now.
Got it. Okay.
It took a long time for me. But like I said, I started out and I had no idea what I was doing. I never took a journalist class or writing class in my life. I'm not suggesting that might not help you. If you want to be a writer, that might be a good way to go. So I wrote forever and rewrote because I didn't know what I was doing to a certain degree. But, the content's there and I got it done. It took a lot of time. And you have to understand, actually, in that time, I basically wrote 3 books.
Okay.
So I wrote the original self-help, the workbook, the kind of outline for the workbook, and kind of got that to follow it, goes with it. And I actually took the time to write a memoir. So it will be the next one.
Wow. Okay.
So,
I did not know about the memoir.
Yeah.
That was a new one.
Yeah,
All right.
so
All right.
it took some time.
Okay. Did you ever struggle with writer's block where you just thought, oh, my gosh, I just don't have any more words to say?
I never did. Never have struggled with the writer's block thing.
Well, you have a lot to say, and it's
I
good.
do
It's all
have
good, so...
I don't know, but I do have a lot to say. And I think it's been in there for years. It was just waiting to come out. And I finally had the opportunity to sit down, and I had a supportive family and people that were super supportive while I did this project. Okay. So, yeah, I really crazy thing, I didn't have writer's block. It's kind of nuts, but I didn't. I haven't to this day, so I've been very lucky.
That's good. So if you were to give a piece of advice to somebody that wants to publish a book that has something, burning to come out, what would you say to them?
I would say go for it. Definitely go for it. If you have something burning inside you, just like my passion I have for mine, you really need to express that. There's a reason you have that passion. You need to share it with the world. You may need some editors. You may need some writing coaches. You definitely need a great publisher. You got to have those tools in your toolkit. But guess what? I would highly suggest that you go for it. I mean, what do you have to lose? There's always needs in the world. And I think we as authors, that's our job, is to provide those needs and give, the gift of information.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mannette, for taking the time and coming into studio and sharing your ideas.
Well, thank you, Dee Dee, for having me. This was great. I really enjoyed it, and it's just an amazing time in my life.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thanks for joining us on the Book Publishing Success Podcast Show, and I wish you success in your writing journey.
Thank you.